TMNT universe is meant for adult collectors and Ninja Turtles fans. Hi, and welcome to TMNT Universe, I'm Mex. Well, it's another year and another Comic-Con, and with an anniversary, this could be a huge one for Turtles, so let's go!
It's the #1 source for Turtles fans, with reviews and news. TMNT Universe.
That's Michelangelo!
Don't tell me they're now making toys of those nasty turtles.
So this year's San Diego Comic-Con has me really excited since it's the Turtles' 40th anniversary, and I'm hoping that all the usual turtle makers will take advantage of it and give us some truly rad reveals. The last few years I've made some predictions of what I think is on the horizon, and we're going to continue that this year. The con hasn't even started and the pre-show leaks and reveals have already begun. And even though they aren't part of my official predictions, I will be mentioning them as well as updates on last year's guesses in this episode. So let's start off with NECA and the Toon Line. And before I get into what characters I think are coming, I'm going to make another type of prediction. I said in my last video that based on the Pizza Club Turtles, I think we're going to start seeing more single box figures. They already do this with the Mirage and Last Ronin figures, and as far as I can tell, the only future 2-pack is the rumored Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady. Other than the Vacation set, the only other rumored Toon figure is an Ultimate Slash. And being another single figure, this Slash could reaffirm my suspicions, but either way, I'm very excited for this one. The original Slash is fine, but I think there was too much reuse considering Slash has a different body type from the other Turtles. And his shell has always bothered me, so maybe with a little reuse from the TMNT Adventures version and some new parts, we can get a cartoon-accurate character this time. Even though NECA has gone pretty deep into the roster, there are some mutants and monsters from last year's list that still haven't been made, so here's a quick recap of those. I may be the only Turtle fan out here begging for a Ray figure, but I really would like to add this fishy foe to my collection. And if they continue the 2-packs, he could be packed with a mutated Fish April since she only needs a few new parts. Fans of Night of the Rogues have been frustrated waiting for a Tempestra figure, and I think she's long overdue. They've done figures that have had only one appearance in the show before, and she's at least had 2. She's also been featured in recent video games, and I think that she might be more likely than ever since one of her accessories would have to be an arcade cabinet. And we do have an arcade cabinet coming with the yellow jumpsuit April, so the tooling is already done. Even though the Pizza Time cabinet isn't exactly the same, I won't complain if it gets us a Tempestra. Hans and Feats. Now these two have been on my list for a long time, but honestly, I'm going to keep mentioning them until they get made. I know I said I think they're going to be doing away with 2-packs, but obviously these guys would have to be an exception since they cannot be separated. I'd pretty much given up that we would ever get the slimy businessman AJ Howard, but with last year's business suit Casey Jones, I think he's totally possible this year. Just a few color changes and a new head and we have an AJ Howard. And another one that I've been asking for a long time is Shibano-sama, one of the coolest one-off characters from the show. He could have interchangeable ghost half or legs and could possibly give us another set of Bebop and Rocksteady variants with ninja gear. And a side note here, I think Bebop and Rocksteady could keep showing up like the Turtle variant since they had so many different costume changes. Some have already been made into figures. And one of the last figures I predicted but didn't happen is the Merdude. I know he only appeared in one episode, but he had one of my favorite figures growing up, and I think that they could work out some reuse for an Archie comic version. But now we're on to the new stuff. I think they should make a Mr. Ogg figure. Now I know he's a pretty divisive character, but I think Mr. Ogg would be a fun addition to the line. He's been popping up in the comics a lot lately, and he was featured on the Portal Generator, and since he would be kind of a small figure, they could load him down with a lot of accessories. And another one featured on the Portal was Hokum Hare. I feel like this is a beloved character among fans of the original show, so hopefully Trevor and NECA feel the same way and we can get this bunny. I know he's just a Freddy Krueger knockoff, but seeing Creepy Eddie at Comic-Con would be a nice surprise. And if they do make a Shibano-sama, Creepy Eddie could share the same lower ghost half with just a simple paint change. And the character has been making appearances in the Saturday Morning Adventures comics with Mr. Ogg. Even though he was a very minor character on the show, I'd really like to see a tattoo figure. Maybe it was all the stick-on tattoos, but I've always loved this character. And finally for my cartoon predictions are the gangsters. Really, any of them, take your pick, from Don Turtelli to Pinky McFingers, even Mad Dog McMutt. There were tons of mob bosses in the show, and it would be really cool to see them in plastic. Now, these aren't official predictions, but like I said last year, I think Space Adventure Donatello and Samurai Adventure Michelangelo are paving the way for a sort of Elseworlds or more original figures in the toon style without being directly from the cartoon, like that last Ronin tease we got a while back. If this happens, I'd still like to see a cartoon-style Worm, Pizza Face, and Scale Tail. And to finish up on the toon side of things, I think with Donatello's Lab coming soon, we should be seeing the kitchen set again, and I think NECA is going to surprise all of us by making the old Technodrome display into an official playset. Jumping over to some Mirage pre-show leaks, we've already gotten a sneak peek at the Karai as Shredder figure that was teased in the Target system in Kevin Eastman's art, and that art will become more important in a second. This figure looks just like her appearance in City at War, but I'm hoping we get a more traditional look as well. And Karai wasn't the only figure leaked from those package sketches. It looks like we are getting a Hunter Leonardo from issue number 11 titled True Stories, and this old man Raph, who I was hoping would be more like Savage Raph from the Turtles version of A Christmas Carol in the Michelangelo one-shot, but looks a lot more like his guest appearance in issue number 20 of Puma Blues. I'm guessing these variants are in line with Michelangelo as the Wanderer, and maybe Donnie for this series will be his future version from the story Old Times from the Plastron Cafe number 1, which is basically the same as his Archie wrestling costume. And the last of the pre-Comic-Con drops is one I spotted a while ago from the Donnie's Lab video NECA put out, and that's the Triceraton Gladiator. I'm really pleased with how this guy came out, and obviously I'll need to get 4 of them. He's hitting stores right now, so I won't have to wait long. Pretty much everything I hoped for last year got revealed, so there's not a lot to recap, but I hope this year we get to finally see new Mirage April that was teased a long time ago, and a black and white variant of the Turtles. And I really need to know what's up with these Utrums. Speaking of which, I'm predicting Utrum scientists and workers with exposed aliens but human skin. These are at the top of my list. All Utrum characters are at the top of my list. A return to New York Shredder with his worm-riddled skin to do battle with the Lawson Leonardo would be cool, just make sure his head's easily removable. Cerebus. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I would really like to see this guy, maybe as part of an accessory set since he's so small. And Nobody would be easy to do since he basically has no detail, but he would be very welcome in my collection. And lastly, I want some of the more individual foot soldiers that Leatherhead forced to work for him. With the previous Foot Ninja, most of the tooling is already done. The Archie series has 2 leaks so far. The Stump Asteroid Wrestling Leatherhead found in Target System, and the Walmart Collector Con exclusive of the 4-armed Scourge of the Bohunkian Galaxy, Crying Hound. This figure looks like it jumped right off the page, and I wonder if we'll get an El Mysterio variant down the road. I'm sure we'll see more of Crying Hound and Wrestling Leatherhead at the show, though I can't help but wonder if this turnbuckle post is a hint of a future ring accessory. Only time will tell. Last year I thought we'd be getting a Mondo Gecko, Wingnut and Screwloose, and Leatherhead reveal. We did get an amazingly accurate Mondo, and the Wrestling Leatherhead should give us a good idea what a regular mutated Jess Harley will look like. So that just leaves Wingnut and Screwloose to finish out the Mutanimals, and I have high hopes that they are coming soon. And another of last year's contenders was Belly Bomb, who comes with a Krang that could be the parasitic version if he has a peg hole for a head underneath. And my last 3 predictions were the Wrestling Turtles, of which we should see fully articulated figures this year, and I did mention the Future Turtles, but I think that 4-pack will have to wait for the future. And my most hoped for previous guess is a Warrior Dragon. He appeared in one of my favorite story arcs, and I'm really hoping we get this guy. And some new Archie stuff I'd like to see this year would be something like the Shredder. The Krang reveal makes me think the Shredder could be next, especially since the Shredder's overall sculpt could be kind of generic but in that Archie style, so you could use it to make several other characters. And if Krang does have a peg hole in the bottom, that would make him an additional portrait for this figure, so I'll be getting 2. And a must would be Nudist, Bebop, and Rocksteady. Being brought back from the Eden Planet by Krang to do his dirty work, these 2 got in touch with their more natural side. I'm not really sure what accessories they could have besides fig leaves and a bird. And an ultimate-size Maligna figure would be amazing. We definitely need someone for the Mutanimals to battle, and why not start with their first foe, the alien insect queen herself. We already have the Loot Crate Armagon, but I think it's time for a redo. The original figure was based on the video game design, so getting a future shark with the comic proportions would make me very happy. Getting a Cuddly the Cow Lake is a long shot considering how big it would be, but who wouldn't jump at the chance to own their very own trans-dimensional bovine? And from NECA and IDW, we've already seen some awesome reveals like the Battle Damage Last Ronin figure. I was really hoping they would eventually get to this design, and to go with it, they are releasing an accessory set. We saw a few of these items premiered last year, but there are a couple of new additions. At last Comic-Con, I said we would see Grammy April, Oroko Hiroto, and the kids. Well, we didn't get any of those, but we got plenty of other cool reveals and teases like the Spirit Turtles, who I think we will definitely get a closer look at this year. I'm still hoping for all of those previous predictions, but I'd love to see more grown-up versions of Moja, Uno, Odin, and Yi, and Casey Marie Jones in any of her looks, since she has had several, but if it were up to me, I'd do this one. Moving out of cartoons and comics, the recent and honestly surprising existence of a Tatsu figure makes me wonder what they have left from the movies. We're still waiting on Shredder's Throne from Secret of the Ooze to release, but honestly, they've been pretty thorough with the characters they've given us, so here's a few that I'd like to see. 122 1/8. Mish, the actor who played Michelangelo, as the 1990 pizza delivery guy. That way we could replace Mikey's head with his, and just like with the Ernie Reyes Kino and a Donatello body, we could make a behind-the-scenes turtle. And I think everybody asked for this, and it's never gonna happen, but I'd love to see a Sam Rockwell cigarette guy. And for Secret of the Ooze, we need a Paige Turco April. We have a lot of great Judith Hogue figures, and she is amazing, but she wasn't the only April, so I think it's time that we show Paige Turco some love. And I'd really like to get a new Splinter. Just like the Turtles, he was similar to the first movie, but just a little bit different, so I'd love to see a new Splinter to go with my Secret of the Ooze Turtles. And lastly, one of the major missing characters from this movie is Vanilla Ice. Everybody has asked for him. I don't know what the likelihood is, but I feel like he's needed in this line. And I know we were lucky to get a set of Samurai Turtles from the third movie since it's not everyone's favorite, but I'd honestly like to see a set of Turtles without any of their clothes on.
My God.
Stay cool.
Who's your tailor?
We're naked.
They weren't the best looking suits, but for nostalgia's sake, I still'd like to get them. And another Paige Turco April. They would already have the portrait from Secret of the Ooze, so why not give us the movie 3 April with a couple of costume changes? And speaking of already tooled figures, maybe we can get a Wit figure since Elias is the same actor who played Casey. And maybe we get a movie 3 Splinter, but at least this one you only have to make from the waist up and stick him in a little window diorama. And while we're talking about the movies, we still haven't gotten that April in the yellow jumpsuit yet. I think this line was being called TMNT Concepts, although that could have changed. But I love the idea of doing some characters that never actually happened. So I'd like to see them take this approach to a few other movie characters, mainly because I really want to see them take a crack at making a Jim Henson Studio-inspired live-action Bebop and Rocksteady. So that pretty much just leaves TMNT and Universal Monsters, and honestly I have no idea what the plan is for this line. I'm really hoping that we get to see Dracula Shredder, or really Shredder as any character before this line ends. I'm hoping we will see some more at the show. And before we leave NECA behind, I had one more thought. I think we could actually see a Stan Sakai Usagi Yojimbo line not directly related to the Turtles. They seem to have a good relationship with him with all the recent Usagi releases. And I for one would love to see other figures based on characters from the comics like Gen or Jay. Well, that pretty much wraps up my predictions, since Super 7 doesn't really do that many new reveals at Comic-Con since their business model is made to order. But they do bring some pretty cool exclusives. And this year they have a Mikey's Pizza pop-up serving pizza and collectibles. And a few of those are an Ultimate Pizza Chef Michelangelo in his own pizza box, and a glow-in-the-dark Scumbug that I'm really excited for, some Pizza Party reaction figures of a new cartoon Bebop and Undercover Mikey, as well as a repackaged Rocksteady and Shredder. And one that has me scratching my head is the Pizza Party Wagon. I'm not sure if this is something I need, but it's still pretty cool. I'm sure the pop-up will have lots of merch, and even though I don't think there will be any new Ninja Turtle reveals, I'm hoping we can see a finished TMNT Ultimates Wave 7 ready for release. And I guess that'll be it unless they want to reveal a Cat Slayer-sized sewer or Technodrome. As for Playmates, I honestly just hope that they show off some new or classic TMNT toys. With the new Tales of the TMNT premiering soon, I'm sure they'll have some surprises. Then there's Mondo's new vinyls, the Loyal Subjects Best Action, and Mattel's Turtles of Grayskull. There are so many companies making Turtles now, it's hard to keep up. But these are just a few of my thoughts, and I haven't even talked about the panels for TMNT. It looks like we have a packed weekend, and I'm really excited to see what awaits us in San Diego. Now I'm gonna sit back, enjoy the reveals, and wait for my NECA First Turtles to arrive in the mail. Later, dudes!
Daddy, I want that turtle toy right now!
Oh, all right, Kevin. Have that turtle toy shipped to the estate, Weasel.
I didn't even know we made those.
Hey guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to kick that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I upload every Turtle Tuesday, so you can always come back to see what's new. You can also check me out on various social media, links in the description. And as always, for all things turtles, check TMNT Universe.